Wasilla hillbillies looting Neiman Marcus coast to coast. Perhaps the political epitaph for Governor Sarah Palin, courtesy somebody in John McCain's campaign hierarchy. Except in our #1 story in the countdown tonight, the governor will not stay down. Breaking news tonight from an ad hoc press conference upon her return to Alaska, the Barracuda bites back, telling the Alaskan media exactly who is to blame for blaming her.
Well, it's ridiculous because you guys report based on anonymous sources, so it's hard to have a defense. John McCain and I just spoke a couple of hours ago about this. He too saying, you know, as long as reporters will choose to nowadays, as it doesn't seem like it had been practiced in the past, but nowadays report based on false allegations coming from anonymous sources, it's kind of impossible to respond to false allegations. But I know that there was nothing done wrong in the campaign.
Okay, you know that, but define Africa. And it's the media that is at fault, not the McCain people who've been leaking this stuff?
For instance, with the whole clothes issue, the RNC purchased clothes. Those are the RNC's clothes. They're not my clothes. I never forced anybody to buy anything. I never asked for anything more than maybe a Diet Dr. Pepper once in a while. I never have asked for anything. These are Sarah Palin's clothes. You know, we don't take anything with us. So until that's cleared up by you guys doing your job, what else can I say? What else can John McCain say about all of this, except these are false allegations?
Diet Dr. Pepper, you say. And what exactly happens to that RNC wardrobe? No deposit, no return?
The RNC is not, they're not coming up. Nobody's coming up to look at anything. There is an inventory of clothes being done so that the RNC is held accountable for all the dollars that were spent. But who said that attorneys were coming up to my house to pick up clothes?
I would think the New York Times reported that.
The New York Times evidently is wrong because it's not happening. Nobody's told me that they're coming to my house to look through closets, to look through anything. The belly of the plane that had clothes in it, and those clothes being packed up and sent back by staffers.
Wait, the RNC is to be held accountable for all the dollars that were spent? You sure that's what you mean? More substantially, the governor was asked about the prospect that she could venture out again into that risky lower 48 by trying to succeed Senator Ted Stevens.
Would you run for his seat in a special election if it is vacant?
Not planning on that. Nope, not planning on that. Just being very thankful to get to hustle back to my governor's office here and get to work as the governor. I tell you, this is the best job in the world, is being the governor.
Sarah, hustle, you bet. Best job in the world, better than being vice president? What about the accusation that she refused to prepare for that Katie Couric interview?
Certainly, we prepped for all of our interviews in terms of, you know, understanding what the message of the day was that was coming from John McCain.
Glad that's all cleared up. Now we can all move on. I'm sorry, there's something else you want to say, Governor?
We're raised up here to know that, yeah, you talk about equality, you see equality in Alaska. And so that's a good question, because I think that was a bit of a surprise on a national level is, wait, you mean the other 49 states aren't quite there like Alaskans are? Well, come on, follow Alaska's lead and start allowing the equal opportunities and the equal treatment.
Governor, you do know that the local stations in Alaska are now capable of sending that videotape to those other 49 states that aren't quite there like Alaska is, don't you? Just another unfair moment from that gotcha media. But
not sad, and also being willing to try to help there also to make sure that there is credibility in our media, that there is objectivity there so that Americans can trust what is being reported. We don't have to second guess. We don't have to be so, I guess, paranoid of what comes over the airwaves or what we see written. And there has been that fairness and objectivity. There have been some stinkers, though.
And there, ladies and gentlemen, the person who could have been your next vice president of the United States. George Bush saw evildoers. Sarah Palin sees stinkers also. Let's bring in Margaret Carlson, Bloomberg News political columnist and Washington editor of The Week magazine. Good evening, Margaret.
Good evening, Keith.
Well,
we're both stinkers.
Yeah, we sure are. And we're going to be more so in her eyes after this, I think. But has she, does she not know that, you know, or realize by now that so long as she keeps talking, we will keep talking about her and not maybe in a pleasant way?
I was amazed that you kept going there, Keith. She just kept going and going. She's the Energizer Bunny of media criticism. She has, most of what has been revealed is on the record in one way or the other. I mean, these are receipts, these are RNC expenditures, the 13 suitcases, the spray tanners, the silk boxer shorts. These are not just made up. These are told by people on the McCain staff. Whether or not they give their names, these are people who know. And she says she's not going to respond to allegations from anonymous sources, but the allegations stand. I guess as long as nobody has their name on them, she's not going to answer the questions about them. But each little drip it's just astonishing, and it captivates. It captivates the media, in part because the whole campaign until the very end, any thought that the media had that Sarah Palin wasn't up to the job, we were just smacked down. We were sexist, we were elite, every name you can think of, and this woman was not to be touched. And now the McCain people have found out what they might have found out about her had they done some vetting. And I'm not just talking about the expenditures, but the whole Megillah. Africa, I can see Russia from my front porch. I mean, everything about her that's come out, they hid for the longest time. Now they're spilling the beans, and she's not quite up to the task of dealing with it. And she's on her own now.
Well, yeah, and then some. I mean, would you, under any circumstances, any discussion of anything, whether it's trying to blame the media or getting across any other right-wing talking point, would you ever use the word paranoid to describe yourself in reaction to anything?
I know. Well, she used the Diet Pepper, and on one of the morning talk shows, Nicole Wallace said Diet Coke. So I take it back. I think she's getting a little bit of help from Nicole Wallace, who's now on her side, because Nicole had been blamed and then she was exonerated for Wardrobe Gate. So I think she's still getting a few talking points, but up there in Alaska, I think, first of all, she's going to look in the mirror, and she really is going to see a senator looking back at her and run for that seat. Because I do not believe a word about how happy she is to be back in Alaska.
No.
I think the tundra has lost its charms for Sarah Palin.
Well, apparently she may have to enjoy it a little longer. I mean, this attitude towards the lower 48 states and Hawaii, that might get her into trouble if she's thinking of national office again, or even coming down for a visit. So we'll see.
And the equality is also equality for felons to be reelected in Alaska. It's not a paragon that the lower 48 want to imitate.
Margaret Carlson of Bloomberg News and The Week magazine, and honorary, or actually charter member of the Stinkers Club, along with me. Great, thanks for your time tonight.
Back at you, Keith.
Yeah, have a good weekend.
Bye.
You get card number 002. I'll take 001.